Hello, everybody. Welcome to the last Daily Dose episode of the week. Today is Friday, August 12th, and wow, today was really just an exclamation point on the past week. We've now seen four weeks in a row with gains on the S&P 500, and that's the first time since November 2021. And a lot of this is really just riding on the fact that we saw a headline number that was lower than June on the CPI. And it's almost like the market didn't read into that at all and was just kind of looking for any excuse to end the pain and go higher. Really what drove that number from 9.1 to 8.5 were energy prices from oil falling significantly, but there's a lot of things going on overseas that could drive oil even higher than we saw it earlier this year later on. And a lot of the other core measures in the CPI actually continue to rise, like food and shelter. So it's hard to argue against what's going on right now. Obviously, the NASDAQ has entered a new bull market, but for me personally, I can't justify putting more money in at these levels. I just can't do it. But, people have made a lot of money this week regardless. So the NASDAQ was up 2.1% today, closed above the 13,000. The S&P 500 is officially closed above the level we talked about last weekend. So if that indicator continues to hold true, then the bottom was in fact in June. And any sort of downturn from here should not go below the June low of about in the 3,600s somewhere. So the S&P was up 1.7, the Dow was up 1.3, a huge way to finish the week. We take a look at the 5-day, the S&P 500 was up 3.26, the NASDAQ was up 2.07, and the Dow was up 1.26. So Apple shares were up 2%. They kind of led the market again, indicating that they expected to sustain iPhone sales in 2022 despite a market slowdown. The company projects it will assemble roughly 220 million iPhones in total this year, which cited people familiar with the matter. Apple's sales and production expectations are typically a closely guarded secret. So they're confidently saying that they're going to continue their sales in the iPhone, even though that the market is slowing down. And that's a good sign for when the market goes back to normal. Apple should continue their growth. So let's take a look at the S&P 500. It's been absolutely explosive, and we kind of coiled at this really important level and exploded right on past it. So the next level of resistance is coming up at around 42.93. So that 4,300 level is going to be really big for the S&P 500. I expect some selling pressure maybe at the 4,300. Maybe we go back down to the 4,150 at some point after that, kind of cool off. As we wait for some other economic numbers to come in, like GDP, not GDP, excuse me, like inflation for next month. That'll be next month. But, if we see any sign that inflation hasn't peaked, if it starts to tick up again, I just don't know how the market can sustain these gains. We saw the Fed say today that they're going to continue to tighten until they see inflation sustained at 2%, and we're still at 8.5%, even after the last quote-unquote good print. So I just don't know. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is in the process of trying to make another higher high. It's been pretty strong since breaking through this trend line. I still think it's on its way to 28,000. It's a little bit above 24,000. We were kind of in the red earlier today, and we rallied through the rest of the day like the market. But that's it today. I'm gonna have a good video for you guys this weekend for sure. It's gonna be a really interesting one. There's a lot of really interesting things happening in the markets right now, so be sure to tune into that. Thank you for joining me today, and I will see you all guys in the weekend.